Here's the key thing. When we see that the only thing that causes resistance is the self-identification, there's nothing that we can't not resist. Now, I'm not saying you do that in a kind of, all right, I've got to stop resisting it because I heard it on this podcast. I've got to resisting. I've got to pretend to accept it and almost like resign myself to go, well, it's rubbish, but I've got to accept it because if I don't accept it, then I'm going to struggle. No, 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 no. That's pretending. That's just like having thoughts, a mantra. That's positive thinking. That's bypassing. We're not talking that at all. We're talking about, and this is what would happen for you with what you saw and for your daughter, is when there's actually a dissolving of that very self that had the resistance. So it's not then I have to kind of almost resign myself to the bar to accept this. It's a new seeing. You see it differently because the very you that was seeing the resistance has dissolved. Because a lot of people think this dropping of resistance is something you have to get the self to do. Now, the self can't drop it because the self is the one that created it. So when they're told to get over something or get closure or let go, if the self hears that, it will find that very difficult or a real compromise. Like, well, I don't want to forgive that person because they're horrible, or I don't want to put up with that. We're not talking about that. We're not talking about lower your bar and make a concession and a compromise. We're talking about going back to see that the very thing that was causing the narrative to resist doesn't actually exist fundamentally.